16 teams battle it out to turn their passion into a career. Only 5 spots remain to make that dream come true. This is day 1 of the League of Legends Championship Series North American Qualifier. The first group of the day featured a new roster for Team FeaR and the fan favorites Epic Gamer. In the first game of the tournament, FeaR faced the relatively unknown Tower Dive TV. FeaR's AD carry Zuna chalked up an electrifying triple kill on Kog'Maw, propelling his team to a one-sided victory. FeaR would go on to defeat Good Game University to take their group 2-0, moving them on to the quarterfinal round. But Epic Gamer was not so lucky. They ran into the buzzsaw known as GG University, losing their first game in a blistering 22 minutes. Despite overcoming a huge deficit in their second game, Epic Gamer would go home winless, falling to Tower Dive TV.
They will knock Epic Gamer out.
GG University would pick up their second win of the day and secure their spot in the quarterfinals.
GGU, they have to be relieved right now.
Group B was up for grabs with 4 teams looking to make a name for themselves. In Game 1, Meat Playground took care of business early against Falafel Gaming and cruised to an easy victory.
Meat Playground taking him out.
In Game 2, it was Dirtnap Gaming's Chris who was unkillable on Shen, demolishing the one-trick pony.
Fuck around!
Meat Playground got ahead early against Dirtnap Gaming, but Dirtnap turned around a seemingly dire fight and rode that momentum to victory.
Oh, that may happen. No, Chris keeps himself alive!
Their victory over Meat Playground would move them to 2-0 and give them a berth in the quarterfinals.
Dirtnap Gaming coming up with a win.
The first elimination match of Group B featured One-Trick Pony's Pawn Gypsy getting Zed fed. The One-Trick Pony's dismantling of Falafel Gaming led to a quick surrender. Still facing elimination in their next game, the Ponies pulled out their one trick against Meat Playground, Lil Kevin's LeBlanc.
Oh my god.
He picked up several flashy kills early, but all it took was one unstoppable force from X-Hazard's Malphite to break the Ponies' backs and send Meat Playground into the quarterfinal round.
There's the Raging Kenny going down. This is what they were looking for. They find themselves moving on to day 2.
FeaR will take on Meat Playground, while Good Game University faces off against Dirtnap Gaming when the League of Legends Season 3 North American Qualifier continues into the quarterfinal round.
Welcome back to the desk, guys. Riven Freak here, and I urge you to rewatch the beginning of that video where FeaR was going through their fight because Muffin is laughing so hard, and he just couldn't even have his hands on the keyboard because Zuna was yelling so loud, and Zuna had never done that before. You just have to rewatch it. You just see Muffin just losing it.
It's great, and these games are so fun to watch. The personalities are great. Hanging out with the players, it's really fun. They're good people.
So guys, you've heard Freak and I tell you all about strategy, but now it's your chance to let everyone around the world know what you think.
Yeah, we posed the question to you. Which of the teams competing today will make it into Season 3?
Log on to Twitter, tell us your answers. We're at LOL Esports, and make sure you use the hashtag LCS. We'll be responding to your answers on the air later in the broadcast.
Now, day 1 was filled with explosive moments, and today is going to be even more intense. Let's size up today's matches.
You know, Freak, these look absolutely amazing. Our first group, Team FeaR versus Meat Playground, a cool little backstory, but also quite well-known teams and have made a name for themselves as well if they hadn't.
Exactly. These are 2 very big names in the North American scene. They're right there, you know, butting up against the teams like TSM and CLG, kind of trying to be those major Season 3 teams. And the main thing about this is these guys have met a lot before because they're such high-caliber teams. They just met at IPL 5 in early December, and Meat Playground won that sort of spat right there. But also, because of some recent roster changes, the AD carry for Meat Playground Balls used to play on the team that became FeaR on NTW NA. So these guys know each other really quite well.
Also, next up, coming into our matches, Dirtnap Gaming versus Good Game University, a match that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to.
It's going to be really good because Dirtnap really showed, I think, a lot stronger than people were expecting from them. They took first place in their group over Meat Playground, and a lot of people kind of considered that group sort of the easier group. Everyone wanted to be in Dirtnap Gaming's group, but now you got to kind of put it on the line. And now it's the quarterfinals. GGU, they've got a lot of experience as a team, but I think Dirtnap's going to be better than they're expecting.
We'll have to see the next game. All eyes on Azure Gaming as they face off against that #1 seeded Curse.
This is going to be super difficult. Curse, I mean, over and over again, people have been saying that they were the favorite here. They went 2-0 in their group, clearly a very, very strong team. But, you know, it's going to be hard to deal with this. I mean, Azure has looked pretty good. It's a tough match for them. But even if either of these teams does go down, they've already got the third day in front of them as well.
And one of our more fun matchups, again, we get Brotherly Love back into the action. We've had the Dins before, and now we have Claky D's team versus Nick Wu, that Marn versus the Brunch Club.
This is actually a really cool story because Marn is not only the only team to make it through the ranked 5s ladder, but they are probably the loudest and most outspoken team here at the tournament, and in probably most of League of Legends. If you were here, you just hear Marn himself yelling at the top of his lungs. Every team is like, come on, get it, yeah, and like he's just crazy electric. And so for that atmosphere alone, like my heart goes out to Marn a little bit on this one.
Yeah, there is so much passion in. You know, to take a second, I was speaking with some of the QAs that set up, you know, back, and a few of them are saying, you know, Team Marn is the only team that uses the time quickly before lobby to jump in a custom and say, play 1, play 2, play 3, play 4. We run them, and then we'll go into the game. The only team they've seen so far. Maybe some have done it. You know, a few have jumped in and ran some ward spots. They all 5 jump in and gather and go around and practice. So they're taking this very seriously.
Yeah.
Guys, it's difficult to convey what's at stake for these 8 teams today. League of Legends continues to grow every day, as does the pool of talented players. Season 3 will be one of the biggest competitions in the history of esports.
Exactly. This means, you know, a spot in Season 3, right? This qualifies for a spot in Season 3 to be a salaried professional player. Throughout the week, we've been talking to the players, interviewing them, filming them up on camera, and asking, you know, what does it mean to be in Season 3? What does it mean to do this? And it's life-changing completely. The video went up about Curse, where this already is their job, and they need to be in Season 3 to remain employed. This is their livelihood, you know, and some of them have backup plans, some of them don't. Some of the players here are going to school, or they've got jobs, and they're going to quit those. They're going to postpone school. Some of them actually have just to practice for this event. But this, I mean, this is what their lives are focused on right now.
You know, Freak, that's also that ultimate grasp of the cup. That sight at the end of the road, there's a long way to go. We still have a portion of the season where the bottom 4 teams have to fight back in it, but the cup is really what their eyes are set on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just minutes away from our first match of the day. It's Team FeaR versus Meat Playground. We're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, Day 2, the League of Legends Season 3 North American Qualifiers begins. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, Summoners. It's about time for our first matchup of the day here on Day 2, Team FeaR versus Meat Playground Freak. This is kind of a battle of 2 teams that have been created long ago by a man that unfortunately isn't here.
This is a man actually I knew very, very well. I actually played with him back in beta. Atlanta, James Moreland, actually created both of these teams, and the managers and the players were commiserating before the match. The guys actually know each other very well, and they're like, yeah, poor Atlanta, man. He was on one of the ranked 5 team qualifiers, didn't quite make it out here. Founded both those teams. He'd actually been, of course, on both rosters, and so has, for example, Balls, the AD carry here. These guys have shared players, shared backstories, and I just really like that they're good friends here because I'm reading their team chat in-game. All the 10 players are in-game and about ready to go.
Yep.
And I think Arthlon was getting challenged that, like, ManCloud is going to fight him. Just, like, in real life, they're just, like, making fun of each other's screen names and stuff. It's pretty great. I like that.
So starting as the blue team, we have Team FeaR coming in. They've beaten Tower Dive and Good Game University yesterday. This is great momentum for them.
Yeah.
And they're favorites in this tournament with Curse right now.
They've looked really, really good. Everyone considered them sort of the number 2 of this tournament. They came in the, one of those few teams that qualified through their placement in Season 2. Doing very well there and keeping their spot, and everyone knew they were a fearsome opponent. We saw them in the very first match of the day, just never letting up.
With the few hits as well, one of the community's most well-known AD carries, Afromoo. This is now post-Afromoo FeaR, and they've still been throwing out amazing compositions and really just overall a great mindset. It's like nothing ever happened in the bottom lane.
Exactly. It's something you've always got to be concerned of when a roster changes. Back in the day, I remember when Counterlogic Gaming first lost Elements from their roster, and then Elements got picked up by Curse. They played a match like the next week, and Curse had won that. Right? They picked up Elements, and everyone kind of made fun of CLG, like, better bench Elements, way to lose that one, right? But, roster changes can always be rocky for a team. It can always mess with your synergies, and it seems like FeaR has not, nor Meet Playground, honestly. They've got 2 new players as well. Neither team seems to have faltered because of those changes.
And if, we had to keep an eye on one person, a big impact player on the team for FeaR, who are we going to look for?
ManCloud, honestly, is really, really huge there. He was, at one point, up to top 3 on the solo queue ladder. He's always been really, really strong. His individual skill is just massive. He's amazing. I gotta kind of say that for FeaR, that ManCloud I think is really the guy to look for.
Right on. So, and starting for the red team, coming up, guys, it is going to be Meet Playground. So FeaR versus Meet Playground. Yesterday, these guys beat Falafel and One Trick Pony. One Trick Pony actually was able to use LeBlanc very well against them, but then it was just, they kind of turned it back on them. You can only do so much, and so this makes us realize that they're a team who can change their strategy mid-game and just cope with what's going on.
Yeah, and there was some, I would say, sort of unfortunate champ select choices there by One Trick Ponies because they let X Hazard get Malphite, who's basically his best champion.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a lack of research or just confidence or what, but realistically, being Meet Playground, you've actually got All-Stars. I was prepping for your question of who's the star player on Meet Playground, and I was like, Balls. But then, wait, Arthlon's been destroying people recently, but then Hazard won them the game against One Trick Ponies, and well, I can't pick one anymore. There's just a lot of really big all-stars there. Honestly, on both these rosters, but they're incredibly strong overall. Life without Pobelter, they're still fine. Arthlon's been doing amazing. Life without Light Sludge, they're still doing great with Balls there.
Yeah.
And even with that loss to Dirt Nap, I think they're still a very good team.
Yeah. It's going to be big, life without Pole Belter. It seems like it's kind of the story for a lot of these teams. They've lost young players. It plagues a few of these teams. They're never aging. Obviously, we said Pole Belter he hasn't aged in 4 years. Next year, he won't be able to play again, probably. We'll find out. But here's a look at what these two teams think about playing each other. Let's find out.
We versed Meet Playground in IPL last event, and we lost to them.
We actually stomped them 2-0 at IPL 5.
But I think most of that was just because of miscommunication. And then ever since Benny's joined the team, we definitely stepped up a lot more.
And I think they're a lot stronger than they were before.
Well, Lemon God and Balls are really good friends of ours.
I've known Mandatory Cloud since I was in elementary school. We've been playing video games together ever since that point of time, and now we end up here together playing at Riot Studios for Season 3 against each other.
I honestly don't want to play them.
Yeah.
I mean, one of us would have to lose, and one of us is not being in Season 3, and that'd be really sad.
We're going to ban out Cloud probably, because we think that he's their strongest player.
Yeah, screw that guy.
all said and done for us, we want to root for them.
I want to crush him.
If we just play standard, we should win.
So we're not going to underestimate them, but I think we have a good shot.
Old school roots and rivalry from the playground. This is going to be an all-out brawl match. We're almost ready to get into Champion Select Freak. These guys it's great camaraderie between these two teams, and you heard FeaR say, you know, we'd be more than happy to see these guys go through as well.
It's really good that they're friends. Again, the camaraderie is there. By the way, from the playground, I got you on that one, by the way. That was good. But yeah, guys, Champion Select is underway. Without further ado, let's get it going on, man. Blue team, FeaR. Red team, Meat Playground. Amu the first ban. It's all starting, guys.
Here we go. They are going to be getting these bans out. We saw a lot of Twisted Fate banned out by Meat Playground before. Cats, Amumu's. Amumu's already out of there, so we'll have to see what they choose. It definitely focused bans here. They said mandatory Cloud right there, so.
Well, so far, I mean, getting rid of Jace is there. Rumble, I think not one. He's going to run quite as much. Certainly the ban on Kha'Zix against Arthalon makes a whole heck of a lot of sense because that guy will pick it whenever possible. Though realistically, they're not banning out a lot of these typical AP mids. I've seen ManCloud play a lot of Karthus, for example. And, you know, unless that's the final ban here, they're really not banning out ManCloud. They said they would, but I'm not seeing it.
Maybe these matches, you know, changed what they thought. There were a few days that happened after that. These were initial thought interviews, so these guys are really coming off expectations of what they've played online. We see that Cho'Gath going in, possibly in the jungle, and the safe Elise. They go safe top and safe bottom.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting right now. So yeah, Elise has been something that has been bubbling up very recently as one of the major picks that's a must-do. Good Game University is a team that said they will grab Elise at any time, whenever possible, and just insta-lock that stuff. There's a few of these teams who are all about Elise here. One of the interesting things, though, is that Evelynn right now has gone through and not been insta-locked. There's been a lot of teams who will immediately just grasp onto a champion as soon as it's available. Both of Zubus would insta-lock Kayle quite a bunch. You know, in the recent histories in the recent tournaments in Korea.
Right.
But here, you know, 25 seconds left in this pick, and you know, most people would come in here saying, well, Evelynn is like kind of the champion to watch. And again, you go back to what xHazard's saying about his sort of the top four of this tournament. It's Amumu, Nunu, Kha'Zix, and Evelynn.
For sure.
And you see those bans right here for FeaR, but you're not seeing that pick come out.
Yeah, we see Xmithie going on Lee Sin. I think this is one of those games where they're playing what is going to feel comfortable. A lot of times it comes down to that.
The fact that they're playing this so slowly and locking in very, very safe and normal picks tells you that I think FeaR's trying to look a lot more reactive right here. Everything here is super safe. Sona works in pretty much every lane. I mean, you'd be a little bit afraid of like Leona Ezreal right here. That would be a fearsome lane for Sona, but you know, with Cho'Gath and Olaf in here, either can jungle, either can top lane. I've seen mid-show. Actually, I've seen ManCloud specifically mid-show, so that is actually a possibility here. But you've got much more confidence here at Meat Playground, right? The insta-lock on Elise is like, yes, we're going to crush people with Elise. She's a champion who makes you react to her. She is high pressure, puts out a lot of damage on the opposing team, and you have to react to Elise. You have to deal with her in some way.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Lulu coming out here from Meat Playground. Engage from FeaR or Chase. There it is, actually Lulu coming in. That Sona, that Cho'Gath, that Xmithie. It's something you're going to need to get away from if the fight goes wrong, and Lulu's going to be perfect for that. Arthalon may choose to pick his. No, actually, they go with the Jarvan. Actually, could be mid. Yeah, Arthalon plays the AD casters mid.
Exactly. Arthalon plays basically everything. I mean, everything. I caught up with Hazard on dinner on Wednesday or Thursday, and it was just like, give me the rundown of your team, tell me what's going on. And he was like, well, there's players and other teams next to me here. I don't want to say too much. Like Demon Lol's there, like trying to listen in from Azure,
looking over your shoulder.
So, yeah. No, I mean, these guys haven't played each other, so Meat Playground, if they win here, will never have to play Azure, though they could meet on day 3 if both teams lose. But he's trying to keep secrets because, like, no, Arthalon plays everything. Like, any champion is available for him. Now, the interesting thing is, Kog'Maw has been played by both these teams here. Ball's had a really, really good performance against one-trick ponies, if I'm not wrong. I might be.
Sounds right.
Okay, and then also we saw it do very well from Zuna in the very first game of the day against Tower Dive TV. So, well, I mean, they've already grabbed Ezreal, so it's not like it's under contestation here, but it is a possibility. Kog'Maw's really good.
They are hovering. It is going to be, he needs to escape a little bit, but they have that front line to peel off for him. And as long as Karthus is there with that exhaust, they should be able to pretty much stop anything. It's kind of hard to get past a Karthus. I like that choice.
Generally speaking, yeah, this is now a team that's focused on late-game hyperscaling. I want to point out that itemizing against FeaR is super hard. They have true damage from 3 sources. So you've got the Feast from Cho'Gath, you've got the Reckless Swing from Olaf. So whatever's in front is basically going to die. If you get a bunch of health to stop the true damage, you get burned down by Kog'Maw. And if you get resist to try to not die to Kog'Maw, you just die to true damage. And then you've also got another hyper carry there with Karthus. there's just like crazy amounts of damage from this FeaR lineup. It looks sort of standard that you're just, yeah, I've got 2 damage dealers, 2 tanks, whatever, but it's a very hard to deal with lineup.
And there's the huge disengage or try to, you know, grab somebody out and displace with the barrel. It's really to break up what would happen if this team fight went down, because it's going to be a lot of just centered on one spot for FeaR.
You've got very, very good engagement here from Meat Playground. You've got a few different champions who can jump into melee range with Jarvan and Elise. Ooh, and a Malphite being considered as well here. That is going to be for X-Hazard up in the top lane. More so than the jungle is my guess here. But you've got 2, now 3 guys who can jump into melee range. Lulu with the Wild Growth is going to make that an incredibly powerful initiation. Yep. Unstoppable Force into Wild Growth is a ludicrously difficult to deal with
true
opening.
wombo combo.
It is a true wombo combo. It is a painful thing to deal with. And you just got a lot of follow-up there. You've got good persistent damage output. You've got Ezreal in the back lines. Generally speaking, for Meat Playground, they need Ezreal to do well. They'll run out of steam in team fights if balls gets shut down.
Meat Playground's super good at just pinning that one person out. You're going to get, like you said, Unstoppable Force, and then Jarvan's pinning you in.
Yeah.
And if it hasn't happened well for them, the Lulu ultimate as well. And that happens for the Engage. This is an absolutely ridiculous team, but the Engage can happen from anywhere. Mandatory Cloud could definitely take this game into his own hands by getting that farm mid and doing what a Karthus does and prepping those outer lanes. If the communication is good, they just get good aggression on the lanes the whole time. You can just start pressing R.
Exactly. This is really what's going to be so great about that team is Meat Playground is it's not the sort of typical R team where it's like a Moo Moo Misfortune Sona and like everything just melts away, but it's an R team where the other team is just locked in place for like 12 seconds and they just won't have the ability to kite you or react to you or do much of anything. And realistically, this FeaR team needs to be pretty mobile, with the exception of Olaf, who can just pop Ragnarok and get around wherever he wants. Cho'Gath needs to actually land auto attacks to really increase his damage up, but he needs to get Feast on the right target. Karthus actually needs to be within reasonable range to get people into Defile. Honestly, crowd control is pretty strong against this FeaR lineup, and just again and again, the Meat Playground lineup has a whole heck of a lot of crowd control. They can pin people in place.
Yeah, it really turned differently for the way they were making it as soon as that Lulu pick came in. It's kind of like being engaged just became a lot less dangerous.
Exactly, and yeah, you try to jump on a Meat Playground and you've got tanky guys all over the place. Malphite, Jarvan, Elise tends to build tanky. Ezreal's going to get away, and then if anything happens, Wild Growth, and you're fine.
So, Freak, we start moving out here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we are coming into the League of Legends Season 3 North American Qualifiers, Day 2, as we whittle down our 8 teams to 4. Nobody's going to be eliminated today, but we will find out who is going to be grabbing some of those contracts, and tomorrow we will find out between those 4 teams who will be the last. FeaR versus Meat Playground to start this one off. Freak and Rivington to bring it to you. Freak, it looks like they are just, oh, well, they actually see balls there, so Smithy is going to start playing this.
FeaR's going for a ward here.
Aggressive.
It's mostly for a ward. Yep. They're going up close with only 4, though. They're checking out the blue buff. They're checking with Lay Waste, and they're going to chance the ward. It won't go down. That's going to be theirs.
Very nice job.
I actually want to point out, as the game opened up, Arthalon in all chat said, "Good luck, friends. Let us have fun. On this beautiful Summoner's Rift, may we embrace the fun spirit of battle." Arthalon, most sportsmanship NA.
That's classy. I smell the mahogany. As he moved towards, actually, top lane, Arthalon is going to be playing Elise. X-Hazard on his favorite Malphite, as you mentioned before. So we may get to switch around here.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, though, because realistically, with Arthalon knowing pretty much every champion, he's going to know a lot of different matchups in general, and so he's a little bit more flexible to kind of go wherever he wants. He's one of the guys I would consider the most flexible here, and most able to do with, like, random lane swaps.
A lot of flasks going out as well. Only a few wards being placed down. I think Chat and I, that last game, 6 wards were placed in the first minute and 30 seconds of that one game. Now waiting for blue buff to come up. We're going to get a little damage and help there. Very orthodox start for both of these teams. It's surprising for the best of 3 as well. You'd think, you know, this would be the game, but maybe they're just sizing each other up. You know, you figure this would be the game where it's like, check this out.
They are playing more or less, actually, Squid about to face check Arthalon. He's going to be safe. They are playing more or less reserve strategies. We're not seeing, you know, gimmicky things like you know, 5-man all-in R-button teams where you have to use ultimates. If you don't have ultimates, you lose the game. You know, FeaR's, it's got a really good theme going where, again, they have just high damage output overall. But generally speaking, it's not inflexible. They can kind of react to anything that goes on.
So this matchup in middle, Malphite versus Karthus, how does that size up?
Malphite Karthus is generally better for Malphite. Whenever you're Karthus, I mean, all you really want to do in lane is sit as far back as possible and just farm.
Throw out Qs.
Yeah, throw out Qs. hit minions from 1,000 range away and try to keep yourself alive. But Malphite is a generally very aggressive champion, and especially when you get a jungler like Jarvan, you've got a lot of ability to press onto that opposition and actually chunk them down pretty fast.
I see Cho'Gath actually moving. Nice ward is going to find him. He decides to back off, possibly finding this in mid. Kind of has a spidey sense. The ward's going down everywhere. Look at these guys just pinging. This early game vision is really just leaving the laning phase to be, and all the lanes are on their own island.
An interesting thing I actually want to point out, too, with the Mandatory Cloud matchup is he's got 27 armor at level 2.
Oh, Muffin Cutie going very low here. It's going to be a flash in. Can he get it down? He does cleanse himself. First blood onto Sona Balls. Could he get taken down by Zuna here? The cleanse as well from himself. That W went down, so he forces the flash over. Shield from Lulu. They can completely turn this around. One more shot onto him. Zuna goes down, but Ken Lemon God finalized his kill. The Void Ooze for extra damage, but it looks like he will find himself that finalizer. The Cathian surprise probably take him very low, but he will be all right, Freak. Great first engagement.
That was really, really good overall. Now, even while the AD carries traded, actually Arthlon up top.
Oh, he does get the ignite. Repel is up, and he finds minions at his turret. This looks very safe, but they have not taken turret aggro. They're going to chase right through. The Rupture is on. They fast chase into the flash, and Squid will not let this one go away. It is going to be an eventual takedown with that red buff on top of Elise, and they find Arthlon at top.
Yeah, so here we go, man. We got a very, very tense matchup now. 2-on-2 right here, 6.3 to basically 6,000 gold. Once again, the lane swap's actually pretty brutal because they did swap their top and mid laners. Meet Playground doing these really interesting things with their lineup overall to get better matchups. And right before that bottom gank, again, ManCloud had picked up armor seals and no real magic resist glyphs because he thought he was gonna fight more physical damage. Jarvan might have been in there, whatever, but he's just building a bit tankier.
Ping's going down still. They want to be very careful about that top lane now that the flash is down. We do have Jarvan soaking it up top. So now they have vision of NK Inc. Doesn't look like Cho'Gath is going to use that to his advantage. He's not really in position. So everybody returning to lane. Lulu forced out of that after the kill. I wouldn't say forced out, happily walked out. She has herself already that GP10.
All right, so the early advantage definitely there for Lulu. You can see the extra kill is helping her out, and it's Meat Playground now playing aggressive. And this is kind of what needs to happen. They're fighting Kog'Maw. They need to put pressure on early. If they can't stop Kog early, they won't stop him late.
Yeah, once he gets that farm up, attack damage getting a little cheaper, his W is just going to tear through no matter what you do with your HP or armor. Xmithy warding up. Jungle. Looks like they're going to trying to get more vision onto NK Inc. and they're really pushing the advantages. There's only 2-2 right now. They're actually down 500 gold, so they're looking for advantages, I should say.
Well, and the one thing I want to point out actually is how some of these individual matchups are really going here. You're seeing a 7 minion kill lead on Ezreal. You're seeing a 5 minion kill lead on Arthlon's Elise up in the top lane, and you're seeing it basically be a wash down in the mid lane. So this extra sort of lane swap setups for Meat Playground, despite sort of playing out of role in a way, have worked pretty well for them.
Ping's going down onto Cho'Gath. X-Hazard not really moving. Looks like you can see him hover towards the bottom side of that mid though. Great communication between the teams. A big push by Squid here in the top lane. The bottom lane is being forced in, so they're kind of trying to counteract that. Call the jungler up top so there's no dive on that bottom. Like we said, Sona is quite diveable in those early stages.
Sona is very, very squishy. Pretty much up until the point she hits level 6. Squid getting a bunch of punishment. He's going to be able to... I'm pretty sure he can stop Arthlon, but he's really going to go in for this one.
Arthlon has that repel up. He goes for that execute. Last spider goes out and not enough.
Yeah, but he definitely gets Squid out of lane at this point. I'd be surprised if Olaf really wanted to sit around here. He does, but, I mean, it's just him chugging. I guess he's got Flask. Take that back. He's actually got enough health regen and items to survive the lane for a little bit.
He goes to repel back on him, though. Squid returns to lane and underestimates the last auto attack from Arthlon, and he picks up a kill to even up that death in lane. They find Xmithy trying to go for the Wraith. They waited there, Freak, for 15 to 20 seconds for that.
That was a really, really good gank right there. The instant blow up. That's what you want to do as Malphite, man, is get those ganks as soon as you hit level 6. Just go for it. Find something, force that battle, and turn it around.
Great job and patience by Meat Playground and not getting antsy to push through that. They saw Karthus leave the lane, just waited for him to go to Wraiths. They know they have a slight upper hand now, continuously pushing bottom. Elise trying to force that top down, and we see Ink stealing away the second blue.
That is really, really good. I mean, they just got that kill onto Xmithy, and that gives them, they know they have about 30 seconds of free reign on the map, and lucky for them, they killed him right around 7 minutes. That's generally speaking, when you're jungling, 7 minutes is the time that the first buff respawns. Wherever your opponent started, that's the buff they're going to have.
Talk about beating someone when they're down. You know, let's kill him at Wraiths, take his blue, and then give blue to Malphite so Karthus can't do anything.
And that's going to be
he has a little regen. We got to give him that.
A little bit, but Mancloud's out of mana right now.
Yeah.
He's literally got nothing he can do in lane right now. And is going to keep getting bullied around here. And if you're Mancloud, you've got to go back as soon as possible so you can get a full mana bar and go back to being relevant in lane.
So does this change build, knowing you're going to be denied on your blue for a little bit more? What is Mancloud, you know, forced to do in this position as a Karthus?
So generally speaking, he's already building what you would do even if you were kind of stuck without any
Catalyst.
mana. Yeah, he's got an early Doran's Ring, and he's getting an early Catalyst for a Rod of Ages. Those are the kind of the standard items you build on Karthus. You don't really need blue to farm in lane once you are like level 7 or so, and once you have those items, you're generally fine. The good thing that blue does is allows you to use Defile to farm on turret, and allows you lower cooldown on Requiem.
And that could be quite helpful, especially when you're getting focused towards that middle. He does have his Catalyst up. Looks like 2 gold generation items going onto both Olaf and Cho'Gath. So it looks like they're kind of just putting up the walls and looking for the late game here.
Absolutely, man. I mean, this is the kind of situation where you're playing a late game hyper carry comp. It's literally what it is. It's Olaf in a solo lane. You've got Karthus and you've got Kog'Maw. Those are 3 of the hardest scaling champions in their respective roles, and they just want their lanes to stop losing and just reach 25 minutes.
Pure punishment. Again, it Wraiths. X-Hazard and Arthalon moving in to continuously deny the red buff now to go to NK Inc. if it cannot be smited away by Xmithy here.
He's getting spotted.
Yeah, he does get seen. They put a ward down. It looks like it may not be worth it. Coming in from the backside here, Crescendo is up on him. Not able to get it out. He was popped up and only got balls. It's cleansed away. He is on the right side. He is exhausted down, taken down by Requiem. And Karthus now starting to get himself fed. NK Inc. falls as well. Zuna coming up with a kill. This is looking quite good for FeaR, but X-Hazard entering the fight says, let's start to clean up. 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's going to be 2 to 3 so far. X-Hazard will be the 4th to fall here if he can do it before taking down without taking down Muffin Cutie. The last auto attack coming in. No, he does get him. He is going to be able to walk this out. He's got at least 10 more seconds. He was not slowed by that, but I think the minions keep the hits down. He took a little bit of damage there. And it looks like
get credit to Karthus.
Oh no, the minions kept it from Sona. Yep. Karthus didn't get the credit.
Yeah, Karthus didn't get anything. He never touched, but Sona did deal damage at least a little bit in the last 15 seconds. That is hers. So good on her overall. But still, that fight, I don't know, it felt like it went to Meat Playgrounds. I guess it went to FeaR's favor. They went up in kills.
Yeah, there were 4 there that came out. Hazard came down. It wasn't really the thing I think I can fight. It was really great either way. There was a little denial of vision, and you can see I think a huge factor was that ward at red buff for FeaR there.
That was really, really massive. And the thing is, he knew it was warded.
Yeah, he did. He just saw it happen.
Exactly. When he was fighting Lizard, the ward came down. He knew about it. He went back in and said, guys, we've got an advantage here. They were winning the bottom lane. By you know, generally speaking, legitimately, they should have had an advantage in that fight. The problem was Karthus had just backed and gotten full mana. You know, he was completely but he got back in a lane with full mana. He got the ultimate off, and they killed Ezreal right away. They focused on balls. They got him out of that fight, and that allowed really everything to happen.
A lot of this gold right now is on X-Hazard, but we can see they're up by just 300, and that small 300 gold, sure, it may come from that kill, but these guys have been pushing the lanes the entire time. It's 68 CS on Elise to 44 on Olaf. Those lanes are the ones that are matching up, and that CS is quite a difference.
That is really, really big. Again, getting a champion like Elise means you're going to be a bully. You're probably going to deny your opposition. You know, Olaf in a lot of these situations is going to have to rely on Undertow to get any gold income because he just has to be so afraid of what Elise does. And you add onto that one misstep where he went back in a lane with 300 health and then couldn't quite dodge the cocoon. If he had dodged it, he would have not been stunned and he would have survived. He had health regen, so if he had dodged a skill shot, he'd have been okay, but unfortunately, really good play by Arthalon made that kill happen.
Xmithy stacking up with his Feast rather, trying to get Big Cho'Gath bigger. Level 7 for these guys, so they do have ultimates. Not yet the fighting phase for them. I figured this is about the time freak they want to start saying, Mancloud, when's the Requiem up? Let's force a quick push in the lane and get the kill off of that.
They're always going to call that Requiem cooldown. They know it's only got 20 seconds left, and when that does come up, they're going to make moves about that. With Dragon being available, you actually saw a pink ward go down earlier, which means that NK Inc. was really thinking about that for quite a while there. Meat Playground's been thinking about that objective for a while. Their ultimates are up first. Honestly, they could go for something pretty soon. But I kind of expected that when Requiem and Feast are both up, they start to make some moves.
We haven't seen anything for Dragon. This has seemed like a fast game in kills, but a slow game in really pushing the game into the next phase. They're trying to build each other up. And like we said, FeaR just kind of wants to stall that in that aspect. X-Hazard pushing up mid here so he can possibly get a roam on. They want to get these lanes, and they want to get a bigger, or want to get to the other lanes and get a bigger advantage. Right now, fighting against each other isn't giving anybody, or lanes fighting against each other isn't really getting anybody a definitive advantage.
Yeah, it's not really growing gold lead one way or the other, just for the fact that FeaR wants to wait around for another 15 minutes. Basically gives them the edge in laning phase. Yeah. Basically, this gold being equal is just kind of a ticking time bomb, because it's going to be difficult for this team to shut down Zuna. He's got Flash almost up, but he's running Cleanse as well. And so most major forms of crowd control he'll be able to escape from, basically. And so to get him kind of into the kind of situation where he can just turn around and start fighting everything, Meat Playground running in for Dragon.
Freak, I'm really interested to see, they have a Ruby Sightstone and a Sightstone, Lulu being 2, 1, and 2. When they start to utilize all of this vision, they have put a few towards Wraith. We saw Jarvan, Arthlon, and X-Hazard doubling up on that and within 5 minutes and really giving harass. Now taking Dragon with no contest. They don't even need the bottom lane, and ManCloud didn't even leave mid. They know. Still, late game. Go ahead and take Dragon. We'll see you later, guys.
Yeah. And especially they also realized that Squid in the top lane had not followed Arthlon down.
For sure.
And so even if they wanted to fight, they just would not ever go for a 4v5. Of course, no reason to Requiem in that battle either. And the thing is, they had kind of made that call early. They know that the mid-game power is with the other side. Any team that's sort of a hardcore initiation team, they've got really good base damages usually. You know, Jarvan, Malphite, those guys have really, really good base damages on their abilities, but they typically don't buy a lot of damage scaling. Jarvan's going to go tanky, Malphite pretty similar as well. Some early Magic Pen, but he's going to eventually switch over to like Sunfire, Cape Frozen Heart. And so you'll see their damage relative to their health, to the health of their opponents go down. Right now,
on mid here. Oh, the Unstoppable Force comes in. Wow, that's a lot of damage that Arthlon has taken, or NK Inc. I should say, on Jarvan there, standing in the defile of Mandatory Cloud. Those dots were hitting for double damage as well, and it looks like they back off from this. So Cloud can take a double ultimate. That doesn't look good for them so far.
That is pretty brutal, actually.
Playground, I should say.
Well, they didn't coordinate it very well either, though. You saw Jarvan go in, and then, oh shoot, I gotta leave.
Like Cataclysm fell in the hit, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and you gotta actually kind of layer those together a bit better overall.
This turret is quite low up top. It wouldn't be enough to be taken down, but still, harass under the turret. Squid is having a very troublesome time here against Arthlon. And there it is, the execute goes down, a few more attacks, the repel if he requires, and he's just gonna wait it out, finalize the damage after Ignite takes off, and he makes his way out clean.
It was a really, really good move there. Elise is just such a good assassin and a great bully, and especially against a champion like Olaf, who just wants to buy health to skill throughout that game. It just is so very, very powerful. It's a kind of a soft counter pick in the first place, but also she's just so good against champions in lane in the first place that it's making it super hard for Squid here.
A huge push down in the bottom lane, and it looks like they're trying to bait this one out, but Smithy is standing right on a ward trying to hatch it, and I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, and he would have gotten revealed by the Sona W anyway. The heal cover actually went out into the brush.
But Jarvan sees it as well. It looks like NK Inc. is in the right spot for the counter here, and this is why a lot of people like Jarvan, that sneaky ability to get into the lane, unlike other champions. I mean, pretty much Nocturne can come close on that.
Yeah, you've got only a very few champions who can really sneak into lanes that easily. And generally speaking, all you've got here is, well, if you can flag toss across the wall. And that's not bad in general, but I actually want to point out, though, what is really good that FeaR is doing here is constantly going for these double golems here. They're down in minion kills. They know this lane is rough, but anytime they're pushed out, they just go grab the double golems. They've got a heal from Sona, so they're not going to run out of health by doing this. They just simply gain you know, more gold by doing this. It's a very, very good choice.
We still see that 20 CS lead between Elise and Olaf in that top lane. 154 to 139. So Karthus finally with that Rod of Ages, that more mana you were talking about within his build to really help him out. He's just going to be able to farm away and keep that distance now.
And this is the one thing you really need on Karthus. For the mana regen, if you don't have blue and the health sustain as well, you're seeing him not able to be bullied by Hazard much anymore. Again, the Rod of Ages was done when they went for the all-in under his turret, and he just simply had too much health to get dropped out. And it also just has that sustain to keep those stray seismic shards from dropping him out either.
Elise picking up a Warmox, trying to stay sustaining, and so far it's working. Able to take down Psycho Squid under his own turret in that top lane. They both went slightly low for Arthlon, but he made it out quite significantly. Olaf now versus NK Inc. up top. Really, everybody's just waiting. It's going to be the next objective. That dragon has been taken down. A 26,000 gold to 24,000 gold. So it's only a 2k gold lead. Again, Freak picking up those double golems. And we may see some movement from the junglers here. We already have Shogoth bottom. Elise is already in mid now. And Jarvan, we may see him come down a little bit for that dragon in 2 minutes.
Oh, there's X-Hazard showing up in the bottom lane, just simply face checking in for it. There's the flash ult. Oh, it gets dodged by Muffin Cutie.
Wow, just at the last second, it almost looked like the image was on it. But yeah, they get it out. That's quite a big waste for them. They see the aggression down bottom and go right onto Arthlon in middle. Arthlon was actually getting quite aggressive himself, so Meat Playground is really calling the shots here. But gotta say that FeaR is doing a good job at avoiding and kind of, giving back the damage as well.
Absolutely, but Meat Playground is the team that needs to make the moves. I was actually about to make that comment that, this game, it's 18 minutes in, the kills are fairly high, but they're equal. Actually, Arthlon going in on ManCloud.
This is going to be big. The execute is going to be very strong. He knows how powerful he is, but it was just outside of repel range. Actually, I think he may have been able to tag on him because the lift was there, but he was like double turret, Cho'Gath, not worth it.
This is one of the best things that you can do, actually, is blow someone's summoners and get out cleanly. I've seen so many players will just turret dive somebody and be like, well, I hope I trade kills here, but he burned Karthus' all summoners.
A little tunnel vision from Squid up top. He finds himself in an ultimate, but Xmithy here, actually the dive eventually comes down from Arthlon. NK Inc. going down from the Requiem. Squid trying to get out, but Malphite, one of those just great chasers.
And this is what's so brutal about having Karthus on your team, is he just will assist you out of nowhere and turn kills around. Though still, it's finally Meat Playground, the team that's making the moves. They picked up 2 kills for 1. Arthlon's, just going for it. And with that early Warmogs, he can tower dive very safely.
And here it comes. Elise now starting the roam. Arthlon to help. This is going to be a quick execute on Muffin Cutie. If he cannot get the crescendo off in time, he's going to have to save Zuna here with it. The exhaust, there's the crescendo. They get out of this one safely, but it looks like Arthlon is going to continue to chase. Deja Vu under a tower finalizes that kill, but Freak, they aren't stopping there. ManCloud comes in to try to clean up a beautiful lay waste onto that. Lemon God looking for help from Elise, but Zuna got too far away with Mandatory Cloud on his tail. One shot from Kog'Maw would do it, but it looks like he may be able to get away. There's the speed up. Cloud's Requiem was down, the slow from the wall, but it's going to be X-Hazard trying to deter them from the chase. Now he's involved in the fight, and now X-Hazard finds himself taking damage, but there's NK Inc. to stop it finally.
Wow, that was actually a pretty good turnaround overall by FeaR. It looked a little bit hairy for a while. I thought it was a pretty good situation then, but ultimately they traded, I think, 2 for 2 in the extended battle, and that's pretty all right overall.
2 for 2 at a game that's somewhat even. Yeah, I'd say that's great. We still don't have that either side. There's no definitive side. Zuna can still tear through Arthlon, who has what would be for a regular AD carry, a brick build. You would be tickling her right now, but with that W, that extra damage on the health, just shredding away, it's really going to be effective, and that's a huge pickup for them just on the Champions Way.
Yeah. Right now, I think there's actually a bit of an opening here for Meat Playground. They just finished 2 big-ticket items onto Balls' Ezreal. He's got a full Bloodthirster, and he's got Static Shiv. So right now, Ezreal is probably the best damage source on the map right here. And I think they should really be using that because, again, they've got to be so worried about the late game potential of the other team. If they can ward sweep, take Dragon, and keep building advantages like this, maybe kill a turret, that's what they need to do here.
And still, we've yet to see a super amount of wards. They're using it very nice towards mid. The entry to still kind of give Mandatory Cloud harass. But the ward on Dragon, fantastic. They grabbed the second one as well, grabbing that 2k gold lead, about 2.5k as they move around. Still, like I was saying though, the wards have been in the bottom part of the jungle. They focused a lot on the buffs, and then they kind of gave up for that, knowing they got an advantage off of it. But they haven't. They kind of were like, we like the advantage. We'll keep it. They didn't grow it.
Yeah, they are keeping it a little bit too slow here in this game. They are trying to make moves. They're going in a lot, and there it is.
There you go, Freak, calling the moves right there. A beautiful True Shot barrage, and that comes just from the side of the map. Xmithy finds himself, and they get a quick 2 there. Karthus now going down.
And there you go. That is why you don't give X Hazard Malphite, is he's going to keep finding those fights.
Oh, wow, Muffin Cutie trying to save the turret a little bit. The crescendo is wasted there, and it looks like the finalized hit from Zuna, or rather from Arthalon, as Zuna comes up getting a kill for himself.
Wow, so this is...
turret for himself, I should say.
That was really, really nice aim in the cocoon. If he didn't land that stun on Muffin Cutie, he wouldn't have gotten the kill. Unfortunately, Muffin did have flash up. He could have dodged that and gotten out. Squid, he can't defend this 1v4. He can maybe drop some minions, but that turret is probably still meat playgrounds.
We gotta be careful. The more poke he takes, the easier that turret is to take down, and the scarier it is. Xmithy can still go down. That is not a very tanky Cho'Gath. They have 3 there. There's still a good amount of mana between them. The Wild Growth is still on. That's why they're fighting. The Requiem is up. The Repel goes down. And Arthalon rather, dodging that damage. Very nice repel on Elise, and he will try to get himself out of this. The Voidooz misses. Gonna get a speed up here from Lemon God. And there it is. They're gonna be able to make it out.
Doesn't even need it. Uh-oh, there's a rupture. Oh, nope, not quite lands. Yeah, they're safe. So Meat Playground with an amazing turn of events. This is the exact fight they needed. Was 2 and almost 3 turrets and about 4 unanswered kills. I was just like waiting for the point where Meat Playground actually turns it on and wins a big fight. They needed that fight. That is the one fight that says I actually think Meat Playground is winning. Up to that point, a 2,000 gold lead, I actually feel like FeaR was still winning that game, but a Malphite ult hit 2, they capitalized on both. Killed the turret, found Sona, capitalized, killed the turret, found Olaf, who actually played a little bit too aggro there, Squid, a little bit too aggro there, got caught out as well.
Yeah, the pokes in front of the turret are something that, you know, you'll deter them. Yeah, the Requiem was coming in, but he could have waited a little 4 or 5 more seconds and gone into it with 100 HP. You're perfectly correct.
I mean, they expected the feast to land. I think it got blocked out, actually, by the Wild Growth from Lemon God. He got him out of range, popped up Cho'Gath. Requiem into Feast would have gotten the kill into Hazard, but really good reflexes by Lemon God to save him.
Elise auto attack, and she actually goes in on Zuna. We all know Kog'Maw, that escape, quite hard for him. He gets hit just by the tail end of True Shot Barrage, and he is forced to turn the Wild Growth combo in. Beautiful unstoppable force to take down the AD carry, and the beef of this team may come through very strong. But Freak, I changed that. I think they kind of went a little too deep here. Jarvan is going to be able to help, but you see they do have to turn around a little bit to stop the engagement because of that tankiness.
They didn't kill ManCloud. They went in. They got Kog'Maw was a really good fight, but they got crescendo into just melee range Karthus, and it was brutal. Arthalon's going down. This is going to be pretty good for them.
NK Inc. goes in, flashes, and uses Cataclysm just because Arthalon was going down. Would you call that was actually worth it? Because now you don't have flash for the next fight. Yeah, your ultimate's going to be up, but that's these teams, a lot of cleanses. And it's going to be a crucial fight for an objective.
I think he thought he could get the kill. I thought he could, I actually thought like, oh, he traded with ManCloud. Wait, ManCloud's not, oh, ManCloud's alive. Oh, yeah, so I mean, like, I think NK, NK and everyone else thought they would get that. I mean, burning Cataclysm for Flash, yeah, I mean, if ManCloud lives, great. Like, that's great for FeaR overall, but burning a Flash is still, like, the right choice to do against someone else. Like, getting Flash off of Karthus, basically, specifically, is really important.
So we have 2 different versions of aura items that we're seeing from these teams. I've heard, people like St. Vicious saying Locket of the Iron Solar is awesome. You can give your team a, plus 500 health around, 100 for each one, 100 shield for each one, plus more depending on level. And then you have the Bulwark. What's the choice for each and why?
This makes a ton of sense here on FeaR because their persistent damage output is far and away above everyone else's in this game. If the fight lasts more than like 6 seconds, which we just saw, ManCloud wins the game by himself. Right. Because they'll kill either ManCloud or Zuna, and then the other one will win the game. And so getting a bunch of front-loaded defense, getting a Bulwark, and getting a Locket of Iron Solari as soon as possible, that's going to make them in a much better situation where they won't fall over to this burst damage. They're fighting basically burst casters who try to kill you over the course of 3 seconds. If they don't die, they'll probably win the fight.
All right, we'll have to see how those aura items / activation items for the team in a fight affect those engagements. There's a little bit there. They try to get out Zuna once more. Arthalon did not have a clean path to continue his engagement, though. And Freak, this has turned into such a poke team now. I mean, they had it before, but as 5, it's just relentless.
Absolutely. This is one of the nice, subtle synergies that this team has from FeaR that I don't think was the reason they picked it, but might be part of the reason they've been so successful with it, is they happen to have a good amount of poke. And that means when it's time to go for a siege, they've got really good tools to start closing a game out.
And And they are going to be able to turn them away, even just on the inhibitor. So, you know, duly noted, they have been able to drop that. It's one of their 5 turrets here, 27 minutes into the game. Balls, Lemon God, and the rest of the team gathering here down in the bottom. We could have an engagement here. They see him out, but there's no way to pinch them in. They are able to push them out face to face. Freak, they already took that turret down to half, and it looks, wow, they are getting very aggressive here.
Well, again, Meat Playground's in a situation where they need to kind of close in this game. I mean, they've actually got decent positioning. That turret's fairly low. I guess they wouldn't kill it in the team fight itself, but they have a decent ability of collapsing on the enemy team. The problem is they can't all funnel in from the same direction. If they all funnel in and get crescendoed, they lose the fight outright. No matter how good their crowd control is, getting delayed by 2 seconds because of Sona is going to flip that fight around.
Wow. 3rd Dragon of the game going to Meat Playground. They've now increased it 7,000, that deficit, and now looking quite big for FeaR to come back in this matchup. 16-10 is the score. We've seen score not mean a lot. We've seen score mean a lot in a 20-minute game when it is 24-1. But these guys, this is a neck-and-neck game still. The 7,000 means a good amount, but like we've said, that Kog'Maw being on the other team is a huge factor.
Oh, Zuna. That was a really painful situation, and they know they can grab Elise when she comes down.
There we go, Arthalon, there he is. Yep, the file just sitting on top of it. He tries to turn and do the damage, as much damage as he can, but it just is valiant effort.
I mean, he doesn't have enough damage to one-shot him. To go in on that at all was a little bit foolish.
And that's the scary part, you know, as you look at Elise, like, that laning phase was won quite definitively as they continue to push. There's so much aggression. There's so much poke. One last shot, forced to use Wild Growth, an ultimate just from auto attacks.
That was a really brutal situation. Not having Wild Growth really hurts their ability to fight, and he gets him.
Ezreal taking half there. They're going to have the chase from Olaf possibly in the bottom. Smithy finds himself going down to Ignite. X-Hazard grabs a little bit of gold for the bank, but NK Inc. staying a little too long goes down and makes Zuna that much more richer. We have a 4-3-5 Kog'Maw Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer.
And that was a really good place, specifically actually by Muffin Cutie on support. He knew he had turret aggro and kept it and counted turret shots. Said, I can take one more, I can take one more, I can take one more. Whenever a turret starts hitting a champion, it will not switch targets until that champion leaves range or is dead. So he ensured that ManCloud and Zuna were safe to fight under the turret and said, I will tank this, it's okay, you guys are safe, and then got out of range in time.
Freak, this team composition just really doesn't allow Ezreal to do anything but use his True Shot barrage. You know, that burst from Mystic Shot is what needs to hit, and only one that can get to him is Arthalon. So the AD carry is forced to shoot Cho'Gath and Olaf in these entire fights.
And normally that's kind of okay. An AD carry normally succumbs to saying, yep, I've got to hit a tank up in front. And the thing is, Balls is having a pretty good game. He's got very high minion kills. He's got 3 full completed items. Infinity Edge is up next. The difficulty, though, was I think Meat Playground made a bit of a bad call where they said, okay, Balls, go ahead and push bottom. He got the inhibitor turret. That's actually a pretty big prize there. There's a lot of very dead turrets here against FeaR. 2 exposed inhibitors. If Meat Playground wins a fight, they could end the game. They've got 2 lanes they can charge down to kill the Nexus. That's a very good place to be in. But the problem was they've just fought a 5-on-4 and they got wiped for it.
So here we go, Freak. That Baron dance is about to happen very slowly. This is the first stages. We see the wards being cleared, and they're going to start huddling around that Baron area. It looks like they're trying to do kind of a brushwhack here as they just sit patiently on the other side. The wall for vision from Mandatory Cloud, and they're really not taking any chances here. This first game does lead into the second best of 3, obviously. As you know, best of 3s go when one team wins 2, but still one of the safest games we've seen played all week.
Absolutely. I mean, Meat Playground is looking for openings, and FeaR is playing very reserved. They're playing very strongly and saying, look, the later this game goes, the better our chances are. They know a lot of their bases in shambles, but they realize that up until their characters reach 6 items, they've got room to grow, and as they keep growing, they'll do better and better. Meat Playground actually is baiting for Baron. They're not been seen.
Freak, this doesn't look good. They have vision. They actually throw it in from the middle ward bush, and they're going to go in very strong. X-Hazard going with the ultimate. He actually misses the ulti as the Wombo combo goes down. That's a lot of damage to be lost. NK Inc. is focusing out Zuna, so we look at Squid, quite low. Requiem going down. This is going to be painful. The bars are low. Slivers of health for Meat Playground, but it's FeaR on the ground. 4-3 now, actually 3-3, yeah, 5-3. There's the ace, the double kill for Elise. Such a back and forth fight. The Requiem, I thought, changed everything, but Arthalon that repel and dodging so much damage.
That was absolutely amazing play there. I was a little bit surprised because I thought they were going to do very poorly because they focused Smithy right away, but NK Inc. actually jumped right onto Zuna and said, you need to go down, you need to be the one killed. Arthalon had finally followed up onto him too. And so that was kind of why they got the fight, is they just picked down Zuna fairly quickly in that battle.
Great job as they raised the score, 22-16. Home guards are being bought now. FeaR gets that portion of the game. They are down an inhibitor, down 2 inhibitor turrets, and they're down 7,000 gold still. So that lead is being held. Let's look at the replay of that last fight. It was amazing, and there was a huge tide turner that didn't actually turn it.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty brutal situation. They go in on Smithy. The ult hits Zuna and ManCloud. Watch ManCloud right here. He's not getting hit at all for quite a while. Takes a bit of extra poke, and then bam, they turn it on. He gets chunked down immediately. Once he's gone, look at everyone turn on to Zuna. NK Inc. was already there. There comes Arthalon, and now it's Zuna's turn to fall over. The main carries are dead. There's nothing else for them to do.
That was absolutely crazy. The true shot coming through to deter them from doing Baron Nashor. FeaR grabs it. I actually thought they were going to try to dip out over the wall and take them down, but they head back. They have a base to guard. They have some items to buy possibly, and Meat Playground needs to set this one up now and find FeaR making a mistake.
So you know what that was? Everyone on FeaR has home guard boots. They lost the fight. We're like, Baron, go! And they got there first. Like, that basically completely nullified what the ace meant. And the brutal thing here is they're down an inhibitor. That's a tough place to be in. Minion's going to flood into your base. Meat Playground is between a rock and a hard place, which is difficult when you're Malphite, because they should be trying to push to win the game. They've got a more early game based team, and they've got an inhibitor down. But they're fighting inside an opponent's base against a team with Baron buff, where they're not even up much gold. It's going to be so hard for Meat Playground to really make a good decision here, because they want to push because that's what the team kind of needs, but the game is kind of flipped on itself.
And I'm surprised, I guess I'm not surprised, Karthus not yet actually going for Azonias. They're really just going into these fights to crush. He's doing a lot of damage, and he's really trying to make the impact, not stay around for the fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the situation where, one's burst based and one's just a long-term engage. And
yeah,
if you get a long fight from FeaR, you're in a bad situation.
This is becoming quite strong. The Bulwark now actually being finished on the side of Meat Playground as well, so they have that stacked on the Locket of the Iron Solari during a fight. I'm sure, well, there you go, blocking some damage from Requiem already.
Yeah,
you have
that
the
is
Locket
useful.
of the Iron Solari, so if the team is close enough, you'll be able to activate that. Trying to just mitigate everything they can. They actually are going with 2 Abyssal Scepters. These guys are really team or a fight oriented right now.
They are just playing sort of selfishly kill the carry type compositions. If you look at Kog'Maw specifically, he has 72 magic resist. 72 is a pretty big number. That's with the Bulwark aura on. But when you consider what you're fighting against, you're fighting guys who've got, it used to be 69 magic pen, but now I'm going to just check X Hazard and make sure I can get my numbers right. But he's got 38 flat pen plus another 20 from the Abyssal Scepter. So he's turning that like 60 magic resist into about 5. And that becomes a very difficult situation when you're Zuna. You take pretty much true damage from the opposition, and that's a very bad place to be in.
You know, that's what everybody's trying to find today. True damage. It's what they reach for. All eyes set on the damage.
Generally speaking, yeah. For most champions, if your goal is offense, you get a little bit more out of magic penetration than you do from ability power, with a few exceptions like Karthus, who gets some free MR shred. Also, he can't always be in range for Abyssal Scepter because of the Requiem Global, so he tends to go more AP based. But for anyone who's going to be kind of all up in your face, Abyssal's so good when you're melee, and you just tend to go for a flat pen build.
So it looks like we have balls as we look at the 80 carries a little bit here. Still a bit ahead of Zuna, and by a bit I mean 325 CS to 260. And some kills there. Well, he's down a kill, but he also has his start to a Guardian Angel. Zuna has that Scepter. I don't think he's going to quite turn it into a Bloodthirster. Probably goes straight for the Guardian Angel as well with the sustain that he has. But that's going to be big when Ezreal gets that. These guys are already winning fights with low health, so if Ezreal can come back while they're still focusing those people, this is going to be really bad news for FeaR. These fights are going to happen perfectly, and Baron right now is just something they're able to guard their base with, which is all right because it got them back the gold they pretty much spent on home guard, but you want to be able to use that. Hopefully they can next time.
Yeah, Ezreal being up 2,500 gold individually is a really big margin, and you just pointed out all those item differences. It's very, very massive. Actually, Kog'Maw forced to get some extra MR and just picked up a Negatron cloak, which is exactly what he needs. He needs to not get blown up by this burst assassin team.
Pushing down on this turret, Mandatory Cloud having exceptional siege stopping potential on Karthus. You can just see him pushing off the turret there.
Arthlon gets caught here.
Oh, Arthlon is hit quite hard. It's going to be a flash in from McSmithy. He gets the bite down. The rappel is up. They know where he's going. They want to stay within range. Oh, it got away from the other side of the wall.
But the Requiem got him.
Requiem goes down from Karthus. Mandatory Cloud picks that one up and says, no way.
That is, oh, Meat Playground. I mean, you had... They had played it so patiently, too. They waited until Baron buff timed out, and they got to that point, and then Arthlon got found. Arthlon got found, and actually looking at the ward vision, unless he just put them down, Muffin Cutie had vision of him as he came down from the Golem camp and said, we need to go grab this. They're going to make a move right now, because they can. If Meat Playground wins a fight, they can literally just win the game because the base has so few structures left. But unfortunately, Arthlon got found, even though he had a great escape there with the... Repel, thank you. You can't really dodge the Requiem at that point.
We have he's still going for ability power right after he bought his Rylas. The Void Staff is finished for Karthus. He buys ability tome.
Yes, he's going to get a little bit more damage. He could go Haunting Guys at this point.
Yeah,
it would actually work. Yeah, exactly. Once you have a Void Staff, getting a more really good build, because now that percentage Magic Pen goes before flat, you drop someone by 40%, and then you drop 15 off of whatever's left.
Yep.
And that's actually a really good multiplier there.
This is the full part. It's actually quite early in a game for like the full itemization that we're seeing from these teams. You're 40 minutes in. It's definitely late game, but you'll see this 50-60, the 6 item champions coming out. The Guardian Angel now being finished on to Ezreal at 350 CS, the highest. Right behind him though, Karthus 337. So Mandatory Cloud doing the job that Karthus does in mid. He kept that well for his team. 9-2-5. He's been participating in 14 engagements, or 14 kills, I'd say, of his team's 17.
Exactly. That's really what it takes to be a really good Karthus, is always being present. Whether you're forcing the battles yourself because you're a hard carry and you're seeing him go 9-2-5, clearly he's doing exceptionally well for himself. But also the fact that you should always try to have Requiem up for the right times. You never use it and waste it and have it on cooldown. You use it when it's going to make kills happen.
Here we are, a push down mid. This looks like it's dictated by Meat Playground. Here, you can just see Smithy. He is looking, staring them in the eyes, trying to find an opening. He finds one onto Arthlon. He wants to get a little extra damage in. It may be a full commitment here. A flash out from Zuna. He dodges X-Hazard completely. The exhaust goes down. They jump in and catch Zuna. He now he flashed out. Then he cleansed and moved on that one for some reason. But here we are onto Balls, the Requiem, the Guardian Angel, and this is what it is going to be. This could be all she wrote for this fight. They finalize the kill on to Ezreal, and they start to turn it around, Freak. This is a great job coming from FeaR, and Meat Playground finds himself on the run. The last shield of health and the living artillery to finalize the double kill. X-Hazard running with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, absolutely. While you were calling that fight, I could hear Zuna yelling, by the way.
So
that pregame.
Loud. I heard it too.
I was here, oh, something's going well for Zuna now because he's yelling at the top of his lungs. And Baron has just respawned. I watched Zuna that entire fight. It's all I looked at was Zuna the whole way through. I saw ManCloud die from the side. Zuna had actually lost his Banshee's Veil at the beginning of the fight, poked out by Ezreal. But, I mean, 3-man here. They have Baron pretty much for free at this point. But, yeah, I just sort of watched, and no one was quite able to stop him. He didn't take Unstoppable Force, did not have to burn Flash for that, simply walked out of range. He flashed when Jarvan ulted him, and he cleansed when Whimsy and Exhaust went on. Every single piece of crowd control that was spent on him, he was able to evade, and he just put the damage out there. He found Balls out of position, started focusing the heck out of that poor Ezreal, burned him down, burned his GA, and then he's sitting there with his team, waiting for him, camping his corpse to revive. They get Balls. Arthlon comes in. Too much damage. Arthlon was not able to burst. It was pretty narrow, to be fair. Elise could burst him down from about a third health, but couldn't grab it. All right. We're going to replay. We're going to watch Zuna himself yell with player audio.
We got pretty decent damage on Hazard right here.
Okay. I'm on Hazard.
Oh my god, I died before ulti went off. Okay, help him with Arthlon and NK. Arthlon and NK.
All right, yeah, you can see them kind of calling back and forth a little bit. Apparently, you guys can't quite hear them, but they're calling out their kills right here. Called the GA, and now they're just camping up on the Balls.
Kill 3.
Arthalon?
NK and Arthon, NK and Arthon. Help him, help him, help him, help him. Okay,
Good
lemon,
shit.
lemon, lemon, lemon.
That's your boy! Let's go!
Yo, you got him, you got him, you got him.
There he is.
Oh my god. You got him. Nice.
There you go, Zuna.
You didn't believe us.
The end of the fight. You saw the concentration during the chase. The right clicks, they're so important. And then they got the kill, and the explosion happened. We knew he had it, the relief, the pressure is off. Let's continue the push.
And they're in really, really good shape here now. 2,000 gold deficit is nothing with this team. They just scale better with items. A Thornmail now completed on Olaf. He's not going to be going away from Ezreal very much here. And it's a 5-man push with Baron. They're gonna keep pressure on here for the next 3 minutes.
Freak, it worked perfectly. The timer, I just heard it go ding. The fight composition is ready from FeaR. They've got their late game team.
They have their late game, and it is late game status here. It's going to be a difficult situation, but they are going to keep the pressure going. There's good defense here. This team has very good counter engages. Someone missteps, Jarvan and Malphite are going to find him and punish that guy. But you just look at Arthalon, how much damage he's taking.
Not even able to trade an ounce of damage back to these guys, and you see Zuna just taking Arthalon almost down to half. Actually, he is half health, forced to go back to the base here and home guard back. We see him running back now to help his team. And they are going to just sit on the front step knocking on that door. 43 minutes into this game, 21 to 24, 66,000 gold to 68,000 gold, 7 to 4 in turrets. There are differences in those numbers, but it spells even throughout this entire game. FeaR trying to grab the upper hand here as they push into the middle turret. You can just see Xmithy trying to be a burden on this team, pushing them out. Zuna finally getting in for a bit of damage. They get his Banshee's Veil. Watch how cautious he plays after this.
Exactly. Now that he knows he can be jumped on, and the thing is, he has no flash. This is actually a very difficult situation because he cannot get out of Malphite, and he cannot get out of Jarvan, and he's not going to be able to get away once Arthalon 6-2 him either. Arthalon has finished O'Reilly's Crystal Scepter. His Q in both forms will slow and do a heck of a lot of damage. Zuna must be careful here.
Yeah, it looks like actually it was the Hextech Revolver being built onto Karthus from that ability tome.
Okay.
So still, like you said, going for the power, but he keeps himself in the fight more and doesn't have to worry about the zone. He can just get help. Xmithy baiting this one out, just kind of hanging out there, allowing his team to clear and allowing his team to get back into position.
Yeah, Squid has so much armor now, you're going to see him actually walk into turret range and just tank it there and let Kog'Maw get free hits.
This could be big. That is down. True Shot Barrage hits Zuna, so that is a big burst of damage. That nuke from Ezreal is gone. And actually, that was quite an aggressive move there from Xhazard to run just to the front. We saw FeaR backing up, so they are ready for that Malphite ulti right now.
The problem is that True Shot Barrage just got nullified. They're fighting against Sona and a Baron buff, so any poke they go for is going to go away by the time the next minion wave shows up. Meat Plague needs to save big cooldown ultimates for the actual fight. They can't just poke with them.
A little bit of an aggression there, back and forth. Freak, where is the ultimate going to come from? The Unstoppable Force, will a good Rupture allow them to do this?
Well, the cool thing is they're actually buying so much time that Baron buff is timing out. I'm actually going through the champions, and I'm trying to find... There's no Baron buff left, in fact. They actually waited out the full Baron buff, losing only one turret, and now they go in.
Jarvan goes in, he hits it, Defile is on, a very nice ultimate, but there's the cleanses, the Banshee's Veil working perfectly. Zuna completely on the chase to Zuna. It's all over the place. Muffin Cutie, the next to go down. Meat Playground coming up very big on this fight. Squid getting obliterated in between three. No, Squid actually pulling out kills within the fight. He takes down Xhazard, finally goes down after swinging the last axe, and Xmithy is forced to flash. I don't know if that was the right call. They can push down mid, but actually flashing there could, yeah, it's going to allow him to get back. I thought he was just going to die or just cause them to run around the map and do what they could, or do what he could.
He will get back in time to defend this inhibitor in a 1 versus 2 there. And once again, I kept watching Zuna because he is the most important character on this map. And you saw them just go for him. He took the Malphite ultimate, did not have flash up in time. Burned Cleanse actually on the knockup from Malphite, which is sort of weird. And so he was not able to get rid of Ignite. And you just saw Arthalon and Hazard and NK Inc. just kind of chase down and go and try to find him. And they did eventually find Zuna.
Again, control of that middle lane going to the super minions of Meat, Playground, and Freak. As you just said, they did a great job at waiting out that Baron buff. They bided their time, and they chose the fight perfectly.
Absolutely, man. They waited out the Baron buff. That's all they needed to do. They knew they were ahead in gold, even if ever so slightly, and they can't just keep getting poked at forever. And they found the engage. They got a Malphite ult that hit enough people. Jarvan and Flag Toss pull, it hit enough people, and they're like, yep, we landed just enough crowd control. And the cool thing is here from Meat Playground as well, is they finally added some damage, sort of persistent damage into their team. Initially I said it was really only about Ezreal, but Balls is full items now, so he's going to stop growing. What they've done though is add Leandri's Torment to 2 different champions here. So Malphite and Elise, as they deal damage to targets, will get some extra punishment out there. Even though they've built tanky, they've actually got pretty good scaling damage.
You know, Elise is actually a huge tank right now. The Rylas as well as the Warmogs. And the Pen is just the favorite here for the APs. Let's see what they can do. Not a lot of magic resistance though. Kog'Maw has kind of just left to himself. Actually, Kog'Maw has sold the Banshee's Veil. He
picked up a Guardian Angel instead. He found that it wasn't working very well. Certainly that Banshee was getting nullified mostly by Mystic shots and things like that. So GA is going to give him a much better situation there. A little bit less magic resistance, a little bit less durability against actually, specifically Malphite and Elise, who've been doing the most damage to him. But when he revives, hopefully his team can react to those situations.
And this is, there's not much time. He's got a quarter left and half left on Flash. A quarter on Cleanse, a half on Flash. It's very interesting to see them going for this so aggressively. Obviously just getting the check down, but Zuna has to be completely careful. He has no summoners, and you saw how hard and how bloodthirsty they were for Zuna in that last fight. They just walked through everyone.
Now, the interesting thing is everyone's summoners are on basically the same cooldowns. If you look at Lemon God and Muffin Cutie, same exhaust cooldown.
That's the silence, the Feral Scream. They do get some good damage onto X Hazard, but they fire the True Shot Barrage off again without having it in the fight. Didn't really matter for him last time. An unstoppable force over the wall, but they're all so low. The I think I can fight could go in the way of FeaR here. Arthlon, here comes the Karthus ulti. It is going to hit NK Inc. and leave him with a sliver of health. He cannot assist the fight in the team. Arthlon will run the other way, sacrificing himself. But now it is up to Meat Playground Freak to dance this one out perfectly.
This is a really, really good play by FeaR there. They got the ultimates onto Zuna. He took a bunch of damage, but the problem was they didn't have enough follow-up. Arthlon was not available, and nor was Balls to actually shut him down.
Wow, these guys having great ward coverage. Almost got a kill onto NK Inc. without even seeing, or without even having him seen. He got into the bush. Living Artillery gives them vision of the exit, and they make their way out as well. 28-25. FeaR grabs their second Baron Freak, and they're starting to turn that table.
This is so good for them. We've got to the point now, 50 minutes into the game, where Zuna is buying elixirs because he has nothing else to spend money on. He's got Home Guard boots still. At this point, you almost want to get Distortion boots for a lower flash cooldown, because the only thing that matters at this point is can he get away from Jarvan and Malphite? And at this point, once you have another 1,000 gold to spend to sell your Zerker Greaves and buy a new pair, honestly, flash cooldown is like the most important thing they could get at this point.
2,000 gold below is Kog'Maw from Ezreal. It's going to be 20,000 gold to 18,000 gold. These guys have racked up so much so far, but still, Kog'Maw is so much scarier right now. It is going to be huge, especially with that Baron buff. The gold lead after at least 20 minutes in this game has finally been taken. 1,000 gold now in the favor of FeaR. 77,000 to 76,000. They're still down in kills, and they're still down in turrets. Like I said, those numbers can usually mean a lot or mean a little, and right now it means nothing. The Unstoppable Force comes in. They finally hit the full True Shot Barrage. A beautiful fight under the turret as Xmithia is caught by the turret aggro. They are going to be able to drop down Zuna. He is trying to get back up. He flashes out with Sona, so they do have good positioning on the fight again. It's going to be a 1 for none. Don't know how they pulled that out. The Requiem does not find a kill.
And that's going to be...
Karthus is down, right?
Yeah, 1 for 1 right there. They're going to keep going in for this one. Zuna just accelerating his health bar back up. He was forced to Guardian Angel. You respawned with 750 health with Guardian Angel, and they just showed back up and said, hey, what's up? I'm in good shape now. I have life still back up. He actually forced Arthlon away from him. Really, really nice there.
A great engagement. They've got the turret out of the fight as well on that middle inhibitor turret, so a next push could be one that helps them and gives them better positioning. Oh, I actually get, they do have the inhibitor. What am I talking about? So they have that, so they do have better positioning, and then continue.
Yeah, they'll be in pretty good shape. So, actually, take that back. It's not 750. For Kog'Maw specifically, it's going to be about 620 or so. It's 30% of his max health, though. So even less health he had, and he still managed to say, you know, Arthlon, you're not going to dive me. And then he life still back to full. Inhibitor gone. FeaR looks the best right now. Meat Playground needs to get these random catches. Their initiation needs to land. Thing is, Zuna, right now, no Summoners and no Guardian Angel. This is the best time for Meat Playground to turn a fight around.
We haven't really seen Balls able to use the static shiv in the pushing phase of the game here. So now that they have a little bit of room to breathe, they're out of their own jungle. Whoa, coming in out of nowhere, the Shirelia's activation with speed buff from Sona. Balls has no idea what happened. He will be able to flash over the wall, and it's going to be Elise to save. Does she have the stun? It goes onto Smithy. Squid is chasing with Undertow, and the Shirelia's goes on from Meat Playground. That was scary for Balls right there.
That was a very rough situation. Balls is lucky he picked up a Guardian Angel, and the fact that he could queue up Arcane Shift properly and not get caught out by the Rupture or the Silence. If he had landed one of those, that could have been game over. Meat Playground could just win the game on a 5v4, but so could FeaR.
Free money still about equal. 52 minutes in. This is the first in this best of 3, ladies and gentlemen. Day 2 here at the Riot Studios for your League of Legends Season 3 North American qualifiers. And we have only seen amazing games in the first day, and so far the second day. Guys, we have a year to do this. Thanks for sticking with us. 52 minutes here, and we may have another 20 to 30 to go as these two teams cannot find a way freak past each other's defense.
Yeah, but now they're giving Zuna the Golem buff, and that's going to be a wonderful siege cannon for this team. His ultimate, it's going to hit rather hard. The ult's going to hit for about 300 base damage on minions, but much higher than that against champions. The 1 point, it deals a little bit over double damage to champions. So he's going to be this long-range siege cannon, a lot of mana regeneration on him. Of course, the Baron buff, that's all theirs. So it's going to be just a wonderful situation. Sorry, Baron's not up, but
Baron has, gone down just recently. And we will see FeaR now pushing. It was just Meat Playground in the top lane. I was saying they finally had some room to breathe, and you just saw Super Shirelia's push right onto Balls. The Guardian Angel is down. His cleanse is about to come up, but his flash will be down in the fight, so Arcane Shift is his only escape if he's found. Zuna is just staying in a very patient position on the back line. Very smart. Double buff on him so he can continue to throw out that living artillery. Smithy loves to take that upper left side of the base engagement. He'll just kind of stand there and take damage and bait out the poke. Elise doing the same thing. Arthlon trying to deter them from the engagement.
So here we go. They're going to back up a little bit. FeaR has good reason to be pensive here. They're very long range. Generally speaking, we talked about this earlier. They have this sort of accidental poke team so that they can actually play long range and just kind of play the siege game and win from there. And this is kind of a good way to play it, honestly. They'll get ever so often free damage in the turret, and they can go in, later on when their opponents are softened up.
Looking around, I actually just saw that's a Beast Lulu with a Randuin's Omen and Locket of Solari. So that Lulu is also able to Area of Effect slow that team that they're fighting against. Wild Growth, that is a lot of support coming from one champion.
Well, she's finally getting, decently rich in this game so far. And it's just stacking armor for the most part, because when you're fighting guys like Olaf and Kog'Maw, it's mostly physical damage you're taking, so it's the right build.
As they move in, they're trying to get their own damage down. There they are, silencing on. It's Freak. Like I said, they can't find the push. It's just not there for them. Both of these teams have amazing siege stopping capabilities. Mandatory Cloud caught there. They do not want any part of that situation. A little bit of poke. Every time I hear that Brutal Strikes go on, you see a Malphite fly in. Brutal Strikes raising that armor just a little bit. That top turret goes down, and FeaR has just been playing the waiting game.
And that's all they really have needed to do this whole game was wait until late game, and just win at the end. At this point, it's time for them to try to claim this victory. You can see the turret now down below half. It's going to be kind of their gameplay is, again, they'll just kind of keep the pressure on. That top inhibitor, a giant minion wave, of course.
Freak, you gotta look. Oh, Blex, he was in the bottom left-hand corner. You could see his chair shaking because he was shaking his leg so much. These guys, there you go. You can hear Zuna in the background. They're going in on the fight. NK Inc is very low. Zuna, however, is taking so much damage right now. He needs to stay alive. They are able to repel the Guardian Angel, but they focused quite a bit of damage on that. They lose the tank Elise. They'd have the tank Lulu, but this is going to be Big Freak, and it could be a final push for Meat Playground here in game 1 of the best of 3.
There we go, FeaR taking down 1 inhibitor, about to take down 2. The third had dropped to minions as well, so out of nowhere, the base has nothing but Nexus turrets.
There are just too many up there. The home guard boots do exactly what they state, and it looks like Meat Playground keeps themselves in this one.
But Baron has respawned. This is FeaR's without even any contest. I can't see Meat Playground even leaving their base, and if they try to, they're going to get spotted by the hordes of minions. So FeaR, they're going to run back with pretty much the final item they can pick up, which is Baron buff. And you're going to see them go for the last push here.
There is not a minion wave that is not past mid right now. Every part of the jungle is FeaR's. Meat Playground needs to start using that Ruby Sightstone they have. They don't want to fight, obviously they have to protect everything, but they need to know where these engagements are coming from because they can happen over the walls. There's a lot of range from this team, and they are fast. We saw how fast they jumped on balls earlier. Meat Playground needs that little bit of vision, and they're already starting to ward out.
Exactly. You've got double Shurelya's on one side, plus a Sona, so FeaR has gigantic movement speed boosts, and on Meat Playground you've got long-range initiation. You've got basically 4 different types of blinks on one side, and the Shurelya's. Lulu can haste someone as well. Both these teams can engage from very, very far away. Meat Playground, though, thing is, they don't want to fight on top of their Nexus with 6 super minions. They actually need to bring the fight out and win fast in one of the lanes.
FeaR, I love the Mikhail's Crucible pickup from Sona. Another cleanse to go out to a teammate.
Yeah, that will only break things, not like Cleanse or Exhaust, but only slows and stuns and things like that. So it will be specifically for Arthlon if he lands E.
Here comes that push. Super minions leading the charge. Mighty Fist to punch Ezreal in the face. And it looks like he is going to have to back off. Getting slowed there a bit, so they're getting their poke down. Giving him a slight advantage. That does pop the Banshee's. Oh, actually, yeah. Did he get another one? Seems like it popped off Zuna. They are going to try to engage here. We hear a lot of commotion from the players. The rappel goes off. They're trying to stay in the same spot. They see Elise going back to base. Freak, this is going to be engagement on the turrets. Huge shots. It took him 2 to 3 to take him down from Kog'Maw. Zuna is so powerful right now. The Requiem goes down, and they are all confined to the small corner of their fountain. A Requiem actually stops them from re-engaging onto Zuna. Arthlon comes out. Arthlon's going to run out of the base. Yes, please follow me, but it's not enough, Freak. The Nexus went down to minions.
Nice job, FeaR, taking game 1. And guys, that means they are 1 game away from Season 3. You can see them right behind us, a smile on their faces. They're like, yes, guys.
I really have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, Zuna is yelling constantly, which I like. I can just hear him. I know team fights are happening because you can just hear that guy screaming for it. 93 to 86,000 gold, 2 minutes short of an hour-long game. I mean, they, tooth and claw, just fought for that battle.
That was absolutely amazing. Would be a complete understatement.
Yeah.
I thought day 2 was going to be awesome, but holy crap. That was ridiculous.
We need a new word that replaces awesome. If you guys can please tweet at LOL Esports for a word that replaces awesome as something above that.
I like it.
Because
I like it. Let's bring it up a notch.
One. All right, guys, but we're going to have I mean, that game.
Yeah.
That game, like,
we're going to get a replay of it in a little bit, but yeah, it's the Barons continuously going to Meat Playground. Like I think it was like 15 minutes the game was back to 1,000 gold, and then it went to 7,000, and then it creeped, and about 43 to 44, 50 to 51. Then at 70,000, FeaR finally took over. 70,000 gold. That was 40 minutes into the game, and these teams were just, what? And now, as I said, I was like, neither of these guys can break the defense. They're continuously going 80,000 to 90,000 gold, or 80-ish to 90-ish thousand. They were still very close. It was like almost one of those Legion games, 100,000 each.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we mentioned a couple of times Zuna's very loud demeanor when playing games. We've got one more replay from you guys from the last fight where you can just listen in to what FeaR sounds like.
Arthlon.
Switch sides!
I got you. Crucible.
Switch sides! He's out.
Balls?
All right,
okay, good. Here comes the minions. Here comes the minions.
He's dead!
Go. You have to go balls.
He's gonna hold me. Good silence. Back up, bombs. Back up, bombs. He
has it.
I closed ignite.
Minions are winning.
Arthlon, switch Arthlon.
End it. Just hit the Nexus.
Okay, good game.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that is comical. I love it. Zuna, so absolutely animated, and what a beautiful game for them to win. That momentum is going to be very scary coming up for Meat Playground. Ladies and gentlemen, Team FeaR is just 1 win away from that contract and a spot in Season 3. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.